I remember 2015 when I was building up my property portfolio. I've made all the mistakes between 2007 and 2015. I bought house and land packages, I bought apartments, I bought crappy properties, bought and sold properties at the wrong time. So I went around making all that mistakes, right? In 2015, I was paper rich, cash poor. And I was really feeling it. I was like, Jesus, like there must be a better way to do this, right? And naturally when you find a better way to do it, structuring right, having the right foundations in place, making sure that you're thinking about properties with multiple exit strategies, you're focusing on established properties, you're focusing on adding enough yields into your property portfolio, growing it sustainably, it changes your perspective on life. You can do it, right? When you talk about 6, 7, 8 properties on $150,000, $160,000 income, it's not unachievable. It's quite logical. You just need a structured path of, going down that and acquiring these properties. You're listening to Help Me Buy Property podcast, powered by Investor Partner Group. We help improve lifestyles by building scalable and sustainable generational wealth and passive income streams. We do this via our ecosystem that is a one-stop shop to all property investment needs, from evidence-based, data-driven buyers agency, industry-renowned portfolio reviews and property strategies, property development with and for clients, tax, SMSF, business structures advisory, and cash flow real estate. Everything we do is to help people achieve financial independence and not just basic financial freedom by using property as a tool and as a medium. Presently, we've launched Australian Property Academy, where we are training and teaching buyers agents, property advisors, property strategic partners, and secrets to finding investor-grade properties to astute investors. Connect now to experience it yourself, or drop in a line below at info@helpmebuy.com.au to get more information. Be kind and happy investing. Today, we are going to talk about a real success story. We're going to dissect her property acquisition journey. How did her portfolio looks like, and what are the steps or the key steps that she took in, building her property portfolio, but also the team and, how did the team play a really important part in building her property portfolio. I'm going to introduce my co-host today, my friend, Alina. Alina, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Mox?
I am great. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show today. How's things?
Thanks for inviting. It's a pleasure on both sides.
It's amazing. And it's super proud moments, right? When you hear success stories and when you hear people building up their property portfolios. And so I thought for a change on the podcast today to bring you as a star and talk about you yourself and how did you go from 0 properties, when we first talked about 2 years ago, or maybe 4 years ago, now 2020, to where you are right now. Such a proud moment, you should definitely be super proud, over the moon. So let's start off with, what do you do? How old are you? When did you start your property investment journey? Let's, give people a bit of a context around some of these things.
So I'm 32 years of age. When I started, I was around 28, and I work in a multinational company as a business development manager. I think success goes to financial education about investing and savings, which was really good while growing up from family. And then, of course, work ethic. You need to hustle and hustle hard to build a property portfolio. The third thing, meeting the right people along your journey. I met you, and I have told you countless times that was a life-changing moment for me. And then knowing sometimes people work hard, attain some things, and then they get satisfied. And then they stop working hard, stop investing. It's just continuing that journey, because then when you keep going, you accumulate everything. So it's compounding. And after a while, after 4 years, you look at your portfolio that you have accomplished so much. So it's a proud moment, definitely.
Amazing. And one thing that I tell a lot of people is that you don't need $1 million to start off your property portfolio, right? So, I've seen people starting off their journey with, $30,000, $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, right? So you don't need a lot of money to start off and kick off a build up or successful property portfolio, right? So I started my property portfolio journey from $30,000. So I'm sure that, you have a very similar story, right?
Yeah, exactly. I started whatever money I had in my bank account. I was always in a high paying job when I started, which was really good. But I have seen people starting like 30, 40, 50. It's just like main point is starting.
Yes.
And not even wait for visas. When I started investing in property, I was not PR, and then everything started. Because I felt like if I compromise on the stamp duty and think about if I'm paying extra stamp duty, if I'm not permanent resident, but then by that time, the property prices will go so much high, and that happened. And it's good that I didn't wait it for my PR. I didn't wait it to get a proper job or different job. I changed my job so many times in the last 4 years because, that bored, tired, and I love growing. So, but we always think, okay, let's wait for this. Let's wait for this. And by that time, the property prices change.
Definitely. And I see a lot of people doing that mistake. They wait for that big deposit to happen, or they don't want to pay an extra $10,000 towards stamp duty, or they don't use LMI to their advantage. So, all of these are quite relevant and quite important. Let's go back, and hindsight is a beautiful thing, right? You can go back and think about the discussions that we've had. 2020, when we first met and, we were discussing about the portfolios and properties, what were the key takeaways that you took and basically implemented that helped you build up a successful property portfolio?
I still remember, Mox, at that time, I was so into house and land package. And the reason I was into house and land package was I was paying around 45 to 48% in taxes. And someone told me that it is the best thing you can do to optimize your tax returns and everything. And you told me at the time about house and land package is a good thing, but it's better to have investment. And I still remember you gave me a clear pathway or indication that within next 2 or 3 years, you can have 4 houses. And I'm like, I would be 30 or 31. How can I have 4 houses? And I was not thinking straight at that time. It was something impossible. But 4 years down the line, I'm about to settle on my 6th property this month on my birthday, 27th September. So, but the way that you said and the confidence you had, which was so enlightening for me. And I started knowing about equity. You told me about how we can invest with equity, how when we invest at the right time, how we can use our trust to advantage, our income to our advantage. Because 75% of my earning always comes from commissions because I'm in business development. So having the right call at the right time when the prices are down at the property or wherever it is, it's so much important. And that was a pivotal moment of my life.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Like, it only takes one person, to make that call, right? I remember 2015 when I was building up my property portfolio. I've made all the mistakes, between 2007 and 2015. I bought house and land packages. I bought apartments. I bought, crappy properties. I bought and sold properties at the wrong time. So I, went around making all that mistakes, right? In 2015, I was, paper rich, cash poor. And I was really, really feeling it. I was like, Jesus, there must be a better way to do this, right? And, naturally, when you find a better way to do it, structuring right, having the right foundations in place, making sure that you're thinking about properties with multiple exit strategies, you're focusing on established properties, you're focusing on adding enough yields into your property portfolio, growing it sustainably, it changes your perspective on life. You can do it, right? When you talk about 6, 7, 8 properties, on $150,000, $160,000 income, it's not unachievable. It's quite logical. You just need a structured path of, going down that and acquiring these properties. Let's talk about your property portfolio a bit from users and listeners' perspective, because it would be interesting for people to hear and see as to, what have you acquired. So, your first house was house and land, I believe, because, that's how you basically started off your journey, which hasn't done bad though. It's still done okayish, I believe.
No.
What about the second property?
Second property was old house. So first property, yes, house and land package. The reason I selected right suburb and the right estate, so that's why it has done good. The second property was established house, and it has done exceptionally well as well.
And which state was this? In Perth? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So first was in Adelaide, second was in Perth, and the third was in Perth as well. The fourth, fifth, and sixth are in Victoria. Because I feel like area prices have gone down so much in last 1 year. So I'm like, oh, I'm buying because by that time, I still, right as I'm speaking, I'm living in a rented house. I have not bought my first home yet.
Yeah.
So I am now settling on my first home now on my birthday finally. It is a present for myself. But
Okay.
yeah, I was investing all this time. So yeah.
Amazing. And are you planning to live in this house, the sixth one?
Yes, finally.
Finally. Don't get yourself taken on a ride by property spookers, so-called property investment advisors, or buyer's agents who are selling house and land packages or off-the-plan properties or apartments. Get yourself a copy of this book called The Millennial's Guide to Property Investing. This book is not just for millennials. The title suggests, but it's actually the most advanced way of investing in property. This book will relate to your clients, your colleagues, and other business owners. There are so many property spookers out there who have come out of the woodwork over the last 3 to 5 years. And there is so much misinformation out there that I had to write a book about all the F-ups that people can actually avoid in order to be super successful in the property investment journey. Some of these are really easy to identify, but they are so costly to fix once these mistakes are made. So it's a short book. It's easy to read. It has a lot of stories. It has a lot of examples. And it is a true guide for people who wants to do it themselves. My name is Moxin Reza. This is my story, and a lot of you will relate to parts of this story if you're not born in the riches and if you're trying to build a property portfolio that can last generations and help you improve your lifestyle along the way. So I give you a chance to come out there and have a read. Be kind, stay safe, keep smiling, keep investing, and please do check out the book. And I think that's okay, right? I think, people think that, rent vesting means that you would never own a house for yourself. For me, I ended up, settling in my principal place of residence finally in 2017. So this was like since 2007-8 when I bought my first property to 2017, 20 years of hardcore investing, right? It takes you hear there's a lot of cultural taboo in our background, at least in my background, I know, where, you're renting, but you have a lot of wealth and you're sitting on a lot of wealth, right? But you invite guests to your house and you'll be like, oh, you're renting. Oh, you haven't bought your place yet. And they know that you're on high income, right? But they almost look down upon you, right?
Yeah. I have experienced it a lot because until, as I said, I was paying 20 to 45% in taxes and everyone, of course, knew that I'm earning so much high. But I was driving, until 2 years back, I was driving $3,000 car. And I was living in a share house with 4 other housemates. And it was not a fancy house. It was our old house. And everyone's like, are you sure you have a house of yourself? Why you are not living there? And I went a bit minimalist. So I don't wear Prada's, Gucci or branded clothes. I travel a lot, which is good, but I don't try to have so much expenses. And when people see that, what you're doing? Are you sure you are investing this? But I feel like you can either work on yourself and your future or either listen to people. It's your choice at the end of the day. It's whether what you feel is beneficial for your future.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And look, I remember one of my mentors, telling me once that, either you can sacrifice your lifestyle for 2 to 3 years and have an amazing life for the rest of the 30 years or 35, 40 years, or you can kill yourself for 30 years and have a really good life for the 4 years while you are in your deathbed. You choose what you want to do, right? And you see a lot of people making the same mistake again and again, right? They go out and they buy liabilities. They don't buy assets. They'll buy an expensive car. They'll buy an expensive bag. Someone can argue that bags are investments as well. But again, you buy expensive shoes or expensive holidays or rack up their credit cards. So they always, people ended up buying liabilities. Even your own personal home, it's a liability, right? Because there is no income coming against it, right? So you think about it, and rent vesting makes a lot more sense when you are young and you're hustling and you are living a minimalistic life and you are trying to, I say, living frugal is not a bad thing, right? A lot of people, make it look like, oh, living frugal is a bad thing. No, I've seen some of the most successful investors living really frugally. Frugal does not mean cheap. Frugal means convenient. Frugal means, you put the money at the right choices, right? I know this client of mine, and this would be quite interesting for you, right? This client of mine lives really, really frugally, right? You meet them and you'd be like, whoa, you wouldn't even take that, they're multimillionaires, right? But you meet them at the airport and they'll be flying business class, first class. And so they spend the money where it's value, where they feel that they're getting the value back, right? And that's what it really means. It provides that sort of financial independence of you spending the money in the right direction, right? So
exactly. That's what it is important. So yeah.
And how did the network around you really help you? The mortgage broker, the accountant, us or me, and other people that were influencing you and giving you the right path. How important was that network of people around you?
So after that pivotal moment, I feel like my mortgage broker, whatever I am, is because of him. The reason, because as I said, my 75% income is on comms. So I'm, although a really high income earner, but it's mostly on commissions. So yes, commissions. So pulling the right trigger and letting me know when is the right time, because of course it fluctuates. Sometimes if it's Christmas, I'm not getting commissions. If I'm going on holidays, I'm getting 50% or 60% of my commissions, not 100%. So telling me when is the right time, and sometimes it affects 1 or 2 days of less of commissions it affects. So telling me the right time, letting me know about my right interest rates, if I can refinance or not, because it affects your borrowing capacity, your serviceability so much. So, and then letting me know, okay, this is your payslip and we can use this payslip for the next 2 months or 3 months, because it is so much important as well. Sometimes people think if I'm changing my job in last 1 or 2 months and 3 months, I can't buy a home. But in last 4 years, I have changed 3 places of work.
Yes.
It has not affected my investment journey, because you need right guidance. Whenever I'm changing job, I let my mortgage broker know. The second thing, of course, my accountant. And I have told you about the trust. I was so confused about how to buy. At one point, my mortgage broker said, Alina, this is your 5th house. And we won't be able to have one more house or we won't be able to buy any more houses for you. That's enough for now. I'm like, he said that don't come back to me with the next 2 or 3 years. I'm like, oh, okay. But I want to have 10 houses by the age I'm 40.
Yeah.
So, but then I started hearing your YouTube videos about trust. And sometimes people are so scared to take the first step, because trust was an unknown entity for me. It was so overwhelming. So I approached you, if you remember. I approached so many friend circles, took guidance from so many places to know about trust. And then I bought under trust 2 properties. Last 2 properties were under trust in Victoria. So now I feel like it's so interesting, because now I have unlimited borrowing capacity. So it's an interesting concept. It's a really good way to build your wealth. So yeah.
Yeah. And, ultimately the team around you, especially if they're providing the right advice and getting you in the right direction, means everything, right? I think you are right bang on the mark when you talk about, the timing matters so much. Because as people who are working on commissions, like salespeople or BDMs, I almost see them that they are running a business enterprise, because it's a business, right? Your income goes up and down, and that's what the businesses do. There is a lot of volatility in your income. And so what you want to do is you want to make acquisition decisions when your income is high, or at least last year's income is high, or last quarter's income is high, because that's what the bank is looking for. Bank doesn't know what's happening tomorrow or next week or 2-3 weeks down the track. All they care about is how was the last 3 months, right? And it's important for someone to almost become an accountability coach, saying, hey, Alina, by the way, your income was amazing in the last 3 months. Go and buy a property because the bank is going to fund you the most, right? And, that's the interesting dilemma that a lot of people don't know. That's an interesting problem that a lot of people don't think about. They go to their mortgage broker or a property investment advisor or an accountant in a very proactive manner, or in a very reactive manner. They basically go in at the end of the tax year where everything is being done. And then they say, get me a loan. I see a lot of clients, especially like, couples where the wife is about to go on a mat leave and they'll come out and say, hey, I want a loan. Yes, we pull rabbits out of the hats and, pull out a lot of stuff. But it's important to think about some of these life decisions and how is that going to impact your own servicing as well. It's very, very important, very, very key. What would be the final words, or should I say, the crux of the conversation, if a 30-year-old or a 25-year-old is listening to you today, or you are providing advice to your 22 or a 23-year-old self, what would you say to them? Would you do things differently? Would you start early? What is the core piece of things that you took away and that is something that you want other people to listen to as well?
First thing, analysis paralysis. I have seen dreams being ruined by doing analysis paralysis. I am grateful I don't have that habit, analysis paralysis, that much, but I was at one point of time also thinking too much, and I wish I would have saved 1 or 2 years as well if I would not have done it. But still, it's 1-2 years is not that much. I see people waiting for 3 years, 4 years. I know some of people who are at 35, 36, they have 300, 400,000 waiting in their bank account, and they are just thinking what should be done. By the time they wait, they could have made another 2 or 300,000 by that. If it's 22 or 23-year-old, start investing and saving immediately. It's not like you don't have lifetime to do that. Like when you are young, take the first step. Go for the penny and the pounds will come. Start being mindful of your purchases, for your spending. That's so much important. Sometimes we say that every coffee we are buying every day doesn't make a difference, but it does. Trust me, I am living frugally. So just be mindful about your expenses and start savings from wherever you can. If you can't by yourself, take advice of mentor. Everyone is out there to help. And I think everyone take help from some people. So people who have achieved something are so much always ready to help because they want to bring this difference in society. And the third thing, which is not the least, healthy mind and healthy body. Like I'm ultra marathon runner, and if you are having healthy body, it directs your healthy bank statement and healthy mind and healthy life, which is so important. Look after who you hang out with, who you spend time with, how you spend your time, and exercise is really important as well. So
amazing golden words. Look, I believe in manifestation a lot, and 2020 when we met and we talked about you having 4 or 5 properties, it's you basically manifesting your future, right? You're saying, well, if this guy is saying that I can do this, then I should definitely be able to do this. And so I always say to people, manifest things in your life and you would see your life working for you in getting you where you want to be. So it's very, very important that think positive, know that, if someone has achieved it, then it's not unachievable. You can do it too. It's all about, being a lot more structured, asking for help, putting your hand up and going in the right direction. So thank you for sharing the story today, Alina. This was amazing. This was wonderful. For people who want to reach out to Alina, she's a bit of an influencer, so you can definitely reach out to her on the socials. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or, any topics that you want us to discuss, write down in the comments below or reach out on info@helpmebuy.com.au. Thank you for listening to us today. Take care, stay safe, be kind, keep smiling. This is Alina and Moss checking out. Adios.